friends, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be doing something a little bit different than the normal pick a card, and we are going to be taking a look at my top 5 tips for learning tarot. This is going to be super duper helpful if you are a beginner or even if you've just been dabbling in it a little bit. Either way, this is just going to give some really solid ideas that'll help you retain the information faster and just be able to start reading for yourself and friends much quicker than I would have if I didn't do these things. So I am hoping it'll be the same for you guys. Be sure to give me a like and a subscribe and let me know in the comments below if you thought this was helpful. And yeah, let's get into it. So really quick, I'm going to let you know my top 5 tips for learning tarot, and then I'm going to get into what each of them mean. So first, we'll go over bonding with your deck. Second, keywords. Third, card of the day. Fourth, learn to trust yourself and your intuition. 5, just start doing it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into tip number 1, bonding with your deck. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you get a new deck of cards is build a connection with it. So a great way to do that is while you're going to cleanse your deck, just do it one card by one card and just take a moment to admire the artwork, run it over some incense, or you can do Palo Santo or sage, just whatever feels right for you. But this is that exchange that creates that energy, connection, and trust between you and your cards. Okay, tip number 2 is going to be keywords. So I found it was much easier for myself to really pick up on tarot once I could just learn like some basic key terms that apply to each card. And then as I continue to practice and do my other tips that I'm about to tell you, it just becomes so much easier to pick up on all the symbolism and just like understand the story of the cards better and the symbolism of colors and like that sort of thing. Okay, so here I'm going to be using my actual first deck of cards that I got and practiced with. This way I can show you exactly how I use those key terms. So what I'm about to show you is my little notebook that I wrote down all my key terms in, and I actually went to this website called BiddyTarot. This is not sponsored, but I will link it in the description. So this here just shows a quick little rundown of the major arcana. And then as you can see, for each card, there are just a few key words for the upright position and the reverse position. I just wanted to go ahead and learn both and just get right into it. As you can see, I'm flipping through my book, and it also gives a little rundown of each of the suites too, like letting you know what it generally means and like what element it's rolled by, that sort of thing. And then again, more keywords. Okay, so this next part is definitely optional, but I feel like it made such a difference for me. So I actually took all the keywords and I wrote them on my actual cards. I recommend using a Rider-Waite deck for your first deck just because like the art is really easy to understand. But anyways, I wrote the both upright and reverse key terms. I just put a little line in the center there to split it up, but that way I could quickly see the keywords as I do card pulls for myself. And that actually brings me to tip number 3. Tip number 3 is going to be card of the day. I think it's super, super helpful to start every day with one card and just take a moment, hold your cards, and what you can do is start with your card of the day and say, what's something I need to know today or something I need to be mindful of today? And then after you ask your question and you pull your card, you can look at the key terms and observe how that knowledge matches up with your current life experiences. So what I'm actually going to do here is a quick little personal example of that. So I pull this card and I realize, oh, I didn't even ask a question. Well, let me just do what I said here. And then I said, what's something you need to know about like making this video? And then I got same card. So I guess it was already trying to tell me something I need to know. So let's do a quick little dive into how you would apply the key terms to an actual reading for yourself. Okay, so to start, we have the Hierophant, and the key terms on here are spiritual wisdom, tradition, conformity, institutions, and religious belief. So that's super interesting that I got this card in regards to this video that I'm making here, because spiritual wisdom, I am giving you guys my own personal wisdom that I have gained on learning and reading tarot, and this is a very spiritual practice for me and for other people. Something else to take note of is the color red. Red can represent passion, and this is something that I'm super duper passionate about. So, just over time, you'll get to kind of recognize and learn more and more things. So, let's actually do 2 more cards just because I want to know what else this has to say about my video. So this here is the Fool in reverse, so holding back or recklessness or risk taking. So you see how there's different meanings on the card, but not like everyone applies. So you know what key terms apply to you based on your current situation. So I would say this is me taking a risk. I've never made any other kind of video besides a pick a card video, and okay, the Hermit reverse, so isolation, loneliness, or withdrawal. Now I have not been really lonely, but have been taking more time for myself to come up with this content ideas and just figure out the best way to make it for you guys. So that is a quick little example of how these key terms can help you get adjusted to doing readings for yourself.
Okay, tip number 4 is going to be learn to trust your intuition. Like, that can be really tricky. It's so easy to doubt ourselves. Sometimes this is how it feels for me. When I'm doing a tarot reading, I'm just talking. Like, sometimes I'm not even sure like where I'm getting the information from. I just know. Like, of course, I do have an understanding of like the meanings of the cards and that sort of things. Sometimes I'll randomly like hear a word in my mind. I do have an internal dialogue. I know some people don't. So it's just kind of like my voice, but I can tell the difference between a thought that I thunk and a intuitive download. And basically the difference for me and what I've seen other people say as well is that your intuition is like quick and quiet, and it's just kind of small. So it's a real subtle push, whereas like our own thoughts can be like kind of loud, or you can start to recognize that they come about from like thinking too much. So just learning that balance between closing off your mind and just being open to whatever is like popping in your head first. And the more you trust that and just go with your gut, your first instinct, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to decipher and that sort of thing. Some like guided meditations on this, or you can listen to some frequencies that like stimulate the third eye or crown chakra. That is really helpful for like your, seeing with your third eye, or just receiving messages from spirit through your crown chakra. So there's a few different options there. One of my fave guided meditations is by the Gem Goddess. I will also link that in the description. But she has some manifesting meditations that you can listen to, and something you can manifest is having better intuition. You can use her guided meditations for manifesting anything. This is just one way to make use of that. All right. Tip number 5, it's just do it. Just take action. Like, if you wait until you are perfect to ever do a reading for someone else, and you're never going to do a reading for someone else. Like, the best way for me personally, and of course, this is just me, everybody does things their own way, but this is what worked for me, so I'm sharing it with you, was like, I started doing every reading that I did for somebody else with my cards here that I wrote the keywords on, and I didn't give a flying hoot if anybody noticed that I had words on my cards. Like, I think deep down it would make me feel self-conscious, because I didn't want people to think that like I didn't know what I was doing, or I was just, I don't know, it's stupid, okay? But that's how I felt. And then I realized, like, who cares? Like, I'm still doing my job of reading the cards, receiving intuitive information, and delivering it in an accurate way. And of course, I got fantastic feedback. Thank you so much to everybody who has supported me and will continue to. By the way, y'all are real ones. And over time, I've just been able to use many different kinds of decks with a little bit of different imagery, and each one just talks a little bit different to me, and you will notice the same for you. So just take your time with each deck that you get and learning, and just don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just go with the flow. Either way, you're gonna figure it out. You won't always have to use the key terms. Just like, don't give up on yourself. That's the biggest thing here. Self-trust, keep going, and yeah, just have fun with it.
Well, that was today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This is definitely out of my comfort zone. It's not something like I normally do, but so is making pick a cards. And now I'm starting to feel much more confident in that. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know what you thought in the video comments. Thanks. Bye.